Hey everyone, Tara Malarkey. Super excited today because I get to interview Abbey Walsh. And she has had amazing success inside of High Ticket Empress. And so I'm going to start off. Welcome, Abbey. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Tara. Thanks for having me.
So tell everyone what your highlight is, how it's been so far working with us.
It's surpassed everything that I could have asked for in this program. Honestly, if you're listening to this, I was just like you, and I listened to every single testimonial before I joined. I literally hijacked every video I could find to watch, because I was looking for what maybe wouldn't work for me. And I chose to instead step in to say, like, why couldn't that person be me on the other end? So for me, my highlight is that I've been in the program for 60 days now, and I've made over $25,000 in sales since we started. So
that's amazing. It's amazing, especially because tell everyone, I guess, like what was happening before.
Yeah. So I'm a nutritionist, and I was seeing one-on-one clients every day, all day. And I had all the math worked out to what I thought would equal my dream business. And I just kept trying to add more and more and more clients. And I was exhausted at the end of the day, just being on video all day long, every day, pouring into people for so cheap. So cheap. I was charging $100 an hour, and I would have a combination of, clients who then got discounts for doing multiple sessions a month with me. And at the end of the day, I was struggling to make $2,000 or $3,000 a month in revenue, just like grinding and having nothing left for my family.
Like that's just unbelievable to me now, like what has really happened then. Yeah. Right. So you were charging $100 an hour, maxing yourself out on like doing sessions. Yes. And now, like, what are you charging now? Then we'll go back into like, what did you learn? What are you charging now?
I had a group program that I was trying to kick off, and I was charging $600 for the group program that I had prior to High Ticket Empress. And that program, I did one-on-one sessions and group sessions and gave so much for $600. And so when I came in, we changed that, and my beta offer that I had been selling was $2,500 and no one-on-one sessions.
Yeah. So the $600 offer was for how long?
We did 12 weeks, and I met with them one-on-one and in a group.
Oh my gosh, girl. Oh my gosh. And so then we bumped it to 2,500, and you've sold 25,000 worth of the 2,500. That's just your beta offer, no ads or anything like that with that, right?
That was my beta offer. I did two of my sales just this week, and I bumped it up to 32 just this.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. And they bought.
Totally. And I'm not meeting with them one-on-one every week. So
yes. And your clients are happy so far. You've been delivering.
Yeah, actually, one of the women that joined me this morning was a referral from one of my current clients that's in the program, loving her experience. So
amazing. So, talk to me about like what was maybe your biggest doubt when you had like the call with my enrollment team, like. What, when someone's listening to this, it's like, of course, there's usually something like, will it work for me? Or you're really afraid of the investment and making it back. It's a scary step. So what was your biggest fear at that point?
Yeah. So my biggest fear on the call, honestly, was that I was going to say yes, because I already knew I was going to say yes when I got on the call. Like I said, I watched every testimonial, I read everything, I listened to your webinar twice. I had already talked with my husband, and I already decided I was going to make this investment before I got on the call. So
the call was like terrible, right? You're like, if the call is good and it's okay, then I know I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Right. So I knew I was going to do it, but I think my biggest fear leading into that decision, as I had already decided before I got on, was the decision of like, I'm going to invest this money, and what if I don't make it back? For me, I've been in business myself for years, but over the past year and a half, I transitioned into really running this clinical practice. And through that process of trying to make it work month after month after month on my own and doing my own advertising and failing miserably, we'd really depleted our savings that we had. So it was like things were tight. And I was like, I'm going to put this on a credit card because I know I'm going to make it back, because I decided if I did it, I was going to do whatever it took.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you did. And you did.
And I did. But that was my biggest fear, was definitely saying like, okay, this is very uncomfortable. I don't have the money just sitting in a checking account, but I'm willing to take a bet on myself.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. What does your husband say now?
He's so proud of me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's my biggest supporter for sure. But he knew that I wasn't happy doing what I was doing and that I needed direction. I was sick of trying to do it on my own with like no results, really. I mean, I was getting results and I was proud of the business I was creating, but you can only do the same thing for so long and expect a different result. And I wasn't getting a different result from what I was doing before.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure you were somewhat fulfilled in that you had clients. So you knew like what you were doing was valuable. But at the end of the day, when you work so hard and you barely make anything at the end, like that's really hard, you know? Really hard. So I love seeing this progress. So tell me, when you came inside, then what shifted everything? Like if you could pinpoint, I know there's so many things, right? But like, if you could pinpoint something, what was it that really shifted? So you could 60 days and making that big of a change is huge, right? So like everyone who sits on the outside goes like, well, so what is it that you know now that made that happen, you know, or what was it that you learned, you think?
Right. I think for me, I had so many ideas swirling in my head all the time of like, oh, create this offer and this program, and maybe this mini program will work, and I'll create this membership, you know, and I didn't have focus to say like, okay, I'm going to put all my energy here. This is a proven system that's worked for other people. And if I do what is in front of me, I can get those results too. And so I just like shut off Abby's ideas and said like, actually, I want to do what Tara did. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that, because it like, it is that when you are facing challenges and you're coming up with ideas all the time, maybe I should do this, and maybe that person said this, and maybe they would like this, and maybe I should do it like this. And like, of course there's like a million ideas, and that's kind of how we all like waste so much time, you know, like we really do. We think we're being productive, but look, 60 days later, imagine if you weren't in the program and you didn't follow just the one pointed process that we lay out for you, you would have probably been pursuing lots of these different ideas and still at the same place, but not for lack of trying, right? Not for being lazy and not doing anything. Like you're trying, working hard, just not on the right thing and not able to just shut out like, no, you know? And like, we see that a lot with all the students inside, you know, because we're all going to have a lot of ideas, and maybe I should do this, and maybe I should add another thing for this. And it's like, you know what, your fastest way to the business you want and the profitability you want is this one path. And so if we can just like, you know, keep you focused here, you're going to see the results really fast.
Right. Yeah. Because how many things did I create that I spent all this time working on to like implement it for a short time and not get results, and then have to iterate again and again.
And again. And now you don't have to do that.
Right.
Like you now know what the process and the model is, and you just get to, you know, rinse, repeat, you know, and maybe you'll add some things in with your clients, and there's still room for creativity, but you're not needing to like launch new things all the time, hoping that it's going to be more profitable or take off, you know, bigger.
And the anxiety that's gone, I feel like, from not having to be like, let's cross our fingers and hope I get enough people to enroll for the quarter launch.
Totally.
Like there's just a new opportunity every day to enroll people.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people that are watching maybe like, oh, I don't know if I can sell high ticket and I don't know if I can like do sales calls. And so what would you say to them?
Yeah. So I would say, first of all, when I came in, I was very afraid I couldn't sell high ticket either. Even though I knew what I did was valuable and I get results for people, all of my clients that have seen me do what I do know that I charge $100. Like they all know. I had it plastered everywhere on like my website, on my page. Like everybody knew that that's what I did. And previous to that, I ran a gym that was $60 a month. I mean, like people were not expecting my investment to be high. So especially in getting started with people in my warmer market, I thought, what are they going to say on this call with me? Like, are they going to laugh at me? And then I removed that care and said, like, this is what it's worth. I'm going to just bring it to the table. And 6 people bought it. Like, and I was like, okay, like if they're willing to buy it, other people are willing to buy it too. And when I started this, what attracted me to the program was an automated system and like lead generation and all of that. So in the back of my head, I was so excited to like, okay, I want to get to this point where other people can do sales calls and all of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think part of the process of that success was I've enjoyed selling it. I've enjoyed getting to help people make a decision to choose themselves, just like I chose myself to be here.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So much in there. Um, because I think that a lot of people also think that it's just the decision to charge more. But then, I think that you would probably say, and maybe you want to like share a little bit more about this, is the confidence that you needed to start saying 2,500 instead of like $100 an hour for like 10 sessions and then it brings it down to 80 or whatever. Um, was, like we walk you through a whole process that gets people, pre-sold pretty much, right? And they come to the call more prepared for you. And then it's still, of course, scary to say that much, but there is more to it than you just decided one day, I'm going to go from $100 to $2,500, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think even I can say, well, I was afraid to even say 2,500, which now it seems easy to say that, like in just a short period of time to go from like the first time I said it to think like, ooh, like how are they going to receive that, to like, I'm just expecting a pause now and I'm expecting people to process and I'm expecting that some people will say yes.
Yeah.
And they have, and some
Yeah.
people don't, and that's
Yeah.
okay too,
Totally.
right?
Totally. Exactly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, yeah, you are profitable and you're also like, how to collect on that 2,500, now 3,200, right? And it will bump higher to 4 and 5 eventually. And it's not like you're doing like a $50 payment plan over 3 years or anything like that also. So yeah. And that's amazing because now, right, what's happening now? You started your automated funnel and you're starting down the ads journey. And so we've like, we're entering in the next level, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited to really start to see all of that come to fruition. I've built out the funnel. I started ad testing now. And, it's just like a new layer and process that I'm excited for. And I think that that's the beauty of what you teach too, is that like there's always an opportunity. I feel like there's not this scarcity anymore with where I'm going to get a client from, both within the techniques you teach us in organic reach and
Right.
continuing to reach into cold market.
Yeah, totally. There is definitely a very specific way you speak to high ticket buyers, which you're probably getting now, and not low ticket buyers. It doesn't mean you'll never attract lower ticket people, but there's a very specific way that, we teach to attract premium buyers that are ready to really invest in themselves at that level. They're more sophisticated and they want different things. And when we package something that they want, they will buy it and they'll buy it quickly.
Right. And those little tweaks that you've taught inside the program, I mean, they're they're things that I never could have seen on my own. You know, when you just have your own eyes on it. I'm a go-getter and a doer, and you know, I can easily fall prey to saying like, I could do that myself. I can probably figure out what she's doing. I was burnt out and sick of trying on my own. But even after being in it now, to see the difference between being coached through what's like right in front of your face that you can't see, that's just priceless.
Totally. And I think, you know, really a big part of that, just like I had to learn as well, is there is something spiritual, energetic, you know, like less visible that happens when you know, step into something and you part with a high ticket to say, you know what, I'm doing this. And something just shifts there and your eyes begin to open. And yeah, like there's strategy there, but it's just like something just happened where, you know, you just, it can't happen unless kind of you do that. You know what I mean? Like no one really does this figuring it out on their own. Like it just doesn't happen. Yeah.
No. And I mean, that's the most, I feel like, dramatic change anyone can make overnight is when you decide to step in, like you're going to go for it.
And especially for what we do, right? Like you can't not do it and expect your clients to do it. Right. So like, you had to come before them, and then you are able to now hold space for them, however you sell them, whether on a call or, you know, however else, like you had to have done that too and said, you know what? Yes, I'm doing this. Like, how could you ask someone else to do that if you don't do it? You know?
Right. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would still be just so darn exhausted.
Exactly.
And like, not to paint a picture that this isn't a lot of work. I have been grinding probably more than I have in a while the past 60 days, but with like a different lens, a different lightness about myself of like being directed and having a path and a support system to do it with. It's just, that feels completely different because you have a plan. You're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Totally. Such a good point, because like we're not trying to say it's easy. It's not like easy, or you don't have to work hard and you're just like on the beach sipping a cocktail and your kids are playing in the sand, you know, and you don't have to do anything. Like that's not what we're saying. I mean, yes, when you're more profitable, you get to do more of that. Right. But for sure. And when you have, you know, and it's working, right? When it's just like this momentum starts to happen, you're like, okay, I know what I should do. And then it works. And then I know what to do. And then it works, you know, that feels really good, you know, totally different. So I feel like it's important to say you're a mom, right? How many kids do you have?
Yes, I'm a mom of 3 children. I have 2 biological children, and we just adopted a teenager as well. So I have a lot going on in my life. It is busy and running, but this has just been so perfect I've made the space for it, and it's just paid me back.
Yeah. Because there's just so many moms who are also like wondering if they can do it too. And I think one of the things that I find just really rewarding for me is like how this will change your family's life, you know? And like, I know that's probably why you started it. You have an expertise, but also the finances help, like, you know, change a family's life, and like, why not? Right. And you then adopted a daughter, right? And whatever other legacy and, you know, just change that happens through all of you just making this decision is really huge. And then all your clients as well. So Absolutely. Good work.
Thank you so much for everything, Tara. This has been just an incredible experience.
You're so welcome. Tell everyone, like, what's next? What's the next goal?
The next goal is really getting this automated, and just continuing to lean in and trust you, Tara, and your team, because I just can't say how much space it's given me to grow and be creative again, to not have to be also the person wearing like the business strategy hat of figuring out like, what am I going to do that works? It's just given me energy and creativity to just breathe into my business and do the pieces of it that I really enjoy, which is actually the coaching piece, not figuring out how to do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, we'll do a follow-up interview when you're further along and you have your automated lead gen. And what's cool here too, like I talk a lot about in our marketing, but some people miss that, even though I teach the ads and the funnel thing, that doesn't happen right out of the gate. So essentially you're the perfect example here where we take you in where you are and then you made 25 grand. And of course, probably there's a piece of that that's cash collected, that's revenue generated, but you're able to reinvest a portion of that into now paid advertising to scale the business. So it's a very sustainable way to do this. We're not asking you to go out of pocket day one to something that's not going to work. You don't, like you wouldn't have a proven messaging, marketing, and sales process, but now you do. And so now we just figure out the paid advertising webinar piece, which, is just a whole nother process, but it's super cool, right? Because that's where you are. You get to reinvest what you've already made to further the growth of the business. And this is a sound way to run a business.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, Abby, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.